What's going on, folks? Ted from Nerd Immersion here, and I wanted to show something that I don't think a lot of people have been talking about. I don't think I've seen anybody talk about it really. Is a whole bunch of new art was created for the stat blocks in the back of the player's handbook. Now, if you have a player's handbook, and by the way, it's not set up yet, but I actually have an extra collector's edition cover and a regular edition cover, so I will be doing a giveaway of these in the near future, like the next 2 days or so. So keep an eye out. I'll be giving both of these away. So I do not need those. I actually would give away this other version of the player's handbook that I have, but that's the one that I did the video on where all the foil is worn off. So anyway, but there's only like 2 or 3 pieces of artwork in the player's handbook with the stat blocks. There's a couple that I'm sure you've seen, right? The Sphinx of Wonder. I think Josiah over the Dungeon Dead did an early preview video and showed off the Sphinx of Wonder and a handful of other things. But there was a lot of really cool art for like the mundane beasts like ape and bear and crocodile, but also really cool new art for things like the zombie, which I haven't really seen anybody talk about. And I actually came across it by accident because I'm running a Fandelver and Below campaign on Wednesdays, and we switched over to the 2024 rules. So I went to look up a zombie stat block for usage in the game, and I had the opportunity, and I saw both the new zombie and legacy zombie, and then I noticed a piece of artwork that was like, I don't know what that's from, but let's find out. And that's how I came across this. Yeah, apparently there's new art. And most of these are available actually in the free rules, so we can show them with no issue at all. So let's go ahead and take a look. By the way, if you like what I do here, consider subscribing to the channel. But basically all I did was go to the monster section of D&D Beyond, and then to go to the filter section and choose the free rules. And you can see all of these little pieces of artwork. So we'll just go ahead and open up this first one. And here is the ape artwork. Again, a new piece of art that I don't think we've seen before. Now, again, this is a mundane creature, so it is what it is. But either way, a new piece of art. And you'll notice there are some duplications, right? So I think ape, and I don't know if giant ape is in here, but I know there's some for there's crab and giant crab, or badger and giant badger. And they just reuse the artwork, like here on D&D Beyond anyway. But here's the badger art, which is really cool. Again, just a lot of little things. I believe this bat artwork, I believe this is actually in the player's handbook. But let's see, we have black bear. I don't love this piece of art. The paw's kind of weird to me here, but let's keep going. We have, now this boar art is solid. I like this a lot. Let's keep going. We have brown bear. I thought for sure if we got one bear art, we weren't going to get 2 different pieces of bear art. But it does look like there's a 6th claw over there on that bear paw. I don't know. But either way, new piece of bear art. We have camel. Again, like I said, it's not like a huge deal, but I don't know. I like it. The cat art is actually also in the player's handbook. So we have this cat doing a big stretch here. Keep going. No art for the constrictor snake. I really like this this crab art. I really like the some of the color choices they made with a lot of these. I really like we have this nice kind of traditional crab orange, but I like the mixture with the blue in there. We have crocodile art. Here, kind of coming up out of the water. I like that a lot. And then you'll notice that the wolf and the dire wolf art are the same. So we just have this one piece of art. Unfortunately, we don't have anything different. I would have liked to have seen a difference between the wolf and the dire wolf just to get an idea. Although we do have, I think, all of the horses have their own piece of art. So here's our draft horse. That is a beautifully drawn horse. I'll tell you that much. Okay, we have elephant art. Here is our elephant. All right, keep going. No art for the elk, strangely enough. We do have frog. I don't particularly love this frog art, but we've got it. I think that one might also be in the player's handbook. Again, we think we talked about the giant badger. I believe it's the same. Oh no, the giant badger has its own unique art separate from the badger art, which is interesting. Giant crab is the same. No art for the giant goat. We do have a giant seahorse, which had seahorse eyes are pretty interesting. All right, on to page 2. We have giant spider. Now, I believe the giant spider art is in the player's handbook, and we have 2 different spiders. We have this kind of one more tarantula-looking one, and one more, I don't know what you'd call that body, but more like Black Widow-ish, I guess. We have giant weasel art, which is just adorable little ferret creature. No goat, as we said. We do have hawk art here, showing off, although it kind of is like a blend between a hawk and a falcon from that design. We've got imp. Now, I actually had to double take because I thought this was the same imp from the 2014, but it is slightly different, this imp here, for the 2024 rules. We have lion art here, showcasing a male lion. No lizard. We do have, I think this mastiff art is very similar to the mastiff art we have already, but it is slightly different. I do like it. It's a good boy. All right, we have mule art. Another very pretty, very beautifully drawn mule. All right, the octopus I thought was a really interesting choice. So instead of going for like a traditional, and when I say traditional octopus, that could mean anything to anybody, but I'm thinking like much more like the traditional bulbous head, and probably for some reason in my head I go to a red octopus, but I actually like the choice of going with a more blue ring octopus inspired design. That also fits because I feel like octopi are usually like, and when they're familiars and stuff, they usually are. Like this one happens to be small size. I thought they were usually tiny size, but this kind of giving off blue ring octopus vibes seems a little odd to not want to give it some sort of poison damage, but either way. We have a pony here. Pony art. I think the artist who drew the mule, the draft horse, and the pony is all the same artist because they all seem to all be very, just the mane and everything is just beautiful on these. Pseudo Dragon is another one that I'm like, it seems very similar in nature to the 2014 art, but just like very slightly different. And then you'll also see the same thing with the Quasit. Also, this one here is shredding up a book. Similar again to 2014. We have a reef shark. Nothing too crazy here. And then we have a riding horse. Different artist, I think, perhaps this, or maybe just a different perspective. We have scorpion art. I'm digging this. I like this scorpion art. And then we'll go on to our last page. Nothing for the skeleton. Spider is the same as the giant spider. We have the sprite, which I do believe is in the player's handbook. The eyes are very haunting. I really like this. And there's such good detail on the leaf greaves here. Just the overall look of this sprite is just fantastic. I really, really like that a lot. We have tiger art. Okay. We have warhorse art here in armor. And then we've already covered the wolf and the weasel in the giant weasel and dire wolf. But one of the most interesting ones is this zombie art. Take a look at that with like the green fire and all that. So I thought it would be also interesting to just take this time to go ahead and search up the 2014 version of the zombie because it also has art. And again, you can see here 2014, 2024. So we'll pull up 2014. So here's our 2014 zombie. Entrails kind of hanging out the middle. And then here's our 2024 zombie. This one, I mean, like, I don't know if this green magic is supposed to be the necromancy that's animating the zombie, or is this zombie somehow magical in some way? And it's so odd because I know it's hard, like, it's dumb to say that this looks more traditional to me because it's just the one we've had for 10 years, but I also kind of like the look. And I mean, again, the stat blocks aren't really drastically different. They're actually quite similar in almost every way. A little bit less hit points on this zombie. Immunity to exhaustion on the new one. Slam attack does the same amount of damage. Undead Fortitude basically does the same. So nothing too crazy, but the art is just so wildly different. So I just thought it was like a fun little thing that I happened to come across while I was looking through some stuff on D&D Beyond. And I thought maybe this is interesting enough to showcase to everybody. So, and again, it gives us a little idea to some degree. We have a little bit of art we've received so far that we've seen in posts and things for what the 2024 Monster Manual is. Unfortunately, that's the one we have to wait the longest time for. We're not going to see the Monster Manual till February of next year. Dungeon Master's Guide, we're closing in on 2 months till the Dungeon Master's Guide. And given how much lead time we were given for the player's handbook, I'm surprised, at least maybe somebody else has. I have not received anything regarding the Dungeon Master's Guide. And there's a lot of content in there that I would love to talk about. And, you know, now that we kind of have a better handle about how they want to do this, I would love to get started on making Dungeon Master's Guide content. But right now, we're just kind of in the dark, but we're 2 months away from the Dungeon Master's Guide launching in regular access, not even including any kind of early access. So, yeah. But anyway, my point that I was trying to get to that I just got lost in the sauce on is we have a little bit more insight with these images onto what we might be seeing art direction wise for the player's handbook or for the monster manual and all future 2024 D&D products. And I think ultimately, like I said, one of the other things to consider is there's so much more art than we had in previous books, right? The fact that every class has a full page piece of art and every subclass has a piece of art, that every single piece of armor and every piece of weaponry was all detailed, probably 2 to 3 times more spells being shown, being cast in the player's handbook, which makes me think we're going to get a lot of real, like maybe, fingers crossed, every single magic item gets a piece of art would be amazing in the Dungeon Master's Guide. And then maybe, yeah, obviously every monster and maybe even multiple pieces. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. And just, I guess, maybe we'll make a poll, but which zombie do you prefer? I might make, I'm going to make a YouTube poll. Which zombie do you prefer, the 2014 or the 2024? So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.